Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening and welcome to the National News broadcast, breaking to you live from the National News Studios here at the ChannelEye Rupavahini Corporation. We are ready to bring you the top stories here at home and around the world. I am Charita Vinipurarachi.
And I'm Sharita Tahir. Let's have a look at the headlines.
A presidential task force for dengue control. 60% increase in the number of dengue patients in comparison to last year. The President says Sri Lanka is the first country which provided opportunities to youth representatives to join parliamentary oversight committees. New measures to prevent child abuse. Guidelines on how to deal with agitations. A joint SLTB and private bus timetable. People-based products targeting international markets. Turkey president and general elections tomorrow. On to those and other stories in detail now, and starting off with the top local story. Special operations have been carried out throughout the island today as well to control the dengue menace.
The operations have been jointly carried out by the health divisions, the police and also the army. The Presidential Task Force has also been appointed to overcome the dengue problem. A dengue control program has got underway this morning, covering the Public Health Inspector divisions of Mirihana, Madivela and Pitakotte. Members of the police, the army and health staff are engaged in the program. 459 houses in the PHI division of Arawala in the Piliyandala Health Division have been inspected. During the operations, 59 dengue mosquito breeding locations have been identified. It has also been disclosed that one of the houses obtained drinking water from a well inhabited by dengue mosquito larvae. Several breeding places of dengue mosquitoes were also found in Kulupana in Horana. Our correspondents say measures have been taken to file court cases against the owners of institutions which maintain dengue mosquito breeding environment. More than 34,000 dengue patients have been detected in Sri Lanka since January of this year. This is a 60% increase in comparison of the figures of the relevant period of last year. The National Dengue Control Unit says 3,400 dengue patients have been detected in the past 12 days. It has also been reported that 50% of the current dengue patients belong to the third variety of the dengue virus.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe says that Sri Lanka is the first country in the world to provide an opportunity for the youth representatives to get themselves involved with the parliamentary oversight committees. The President reiterates that it was the present government which has granted the system change demanded by the youth community. He has also pointed out that we would be able to boost all the Sri Lanka in 25 years of time. We have dutifully fulfilled our responsibilities today. President Ranil Wickremesinghe has made these remarks participating in a workshop to enlighten representatives of the Oversight Committee today. The event has taken place at the Voters Edge Hotel premises, Battaramulla. The Oversight Committee is comprised of parliamentarians representing all political parties in Parliament. It has been organised by the Sri Lanka Parliament with cooperation of the Project on Support for Sri Lanka Parliament by the United Nations Development Programme. The programme has been complied according to a concept of the President. The youth have been selected for working with 17 oversight committees. The total number of members is 540. This would enable to receive the opinions of youth in parliamentary activities. The workshop also provides technological and theoretical guidelines in this regard. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the Oversight Committee members are able to engage in all parliamentary activities other than entering the chamber and giving speeches and engaged in voting. He also said that this is the first time in the world such powers granted to the youth. Therefore, this is a historic moment. The President has recalled the massive collapse in the country last year. If the 225 members to be drowned in the Diawana reservoir, the reservoir would have been polluted. He added that setting fire to houses and engaging in agitators by the roadside is not a solution to the problem. Encircling of the parliament is also not a remedy to the problem. The people should have pondered as to why the country became bankrupt and why the economy collapsed. The president added that, however, solutions to the problems could not be found easily. A good economy is needed for a good future. The law has to be implemented sternly. If we all work together, now we would be able to say in 25 years from now on that country is in a developed stage. Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena said that youth participation in democracy is a national task. The youth must fulfill their obligations, setting aside petty thinking. The youth responsibility is for a secured future in Sri Lanka. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that he believes that today is a turning point in the future of the country. He added that they are unable to look the other way when correct measures are being taken. He added that they are unable to look into the other way when correct measures are being taken within an intellectual political system. He also said that the initiatives being unleashed today is a stepping stone to youth to enter the center stage in politics.
Pleased and deeply humbled to be part of the orientation program for youth representatives of the sectoral oversight committees. In more than 60 countries, UNDP supports parliamentary strengthening initiatives because we firmly believe in the important role played by the legislature in fostering democracy and promoting sustainable and inclusive development. Our global collaboration with the parliaments around the world focuses on strengthening all core functions of the parliament. These functions include lawmaking, oversight, representation, and budget scrutiny. While doing so, we hope to further enhance the inclusivity and representation of the people's will, promote a greater oversight of transparent governance processes, and to improve the effectiveness of its functioning. The current program we have with the Parliament of Sri Lanka is one of such flagship partnerships in the Asia-Pacific region. For over a decade, UNDP has been supporting Sri Lanka's parliament to strengthen responsiveness, inclusiveness, and representation in its lawmaking processes. For example, working together with our fellow parliamentary development partners, we have continued to strengthen its public relations and communication functions. One concrete result is the inclusion of hearing-impaired segments of the society in the parliament processes through the provision of real-time sign language interpretation services. In an ideal world, the look of the parliaments around the world should reflect the diversity of the society they represent. However, we know societal barriers and systemic factors often make equal and inclusive representation in its fullest forms impractical or impossible. We all know that today's young people are digitally savvy. Digital solutions can be used as powerful digital listening tools that enable parliaments to constantly take the pulse of the public sentiments and crowdsource ideas from young people that can be used in their policy-making processes and oversight functions. It will certainly allow the parliament to be more anticipatory and future-ready. While Sri Lanka is one of the fastest aging societies in Asia, we cannot discount the voices of a quarter of the population. We therefore extended our technical support to the establishment of the Parliamentary Caucus for Youth to take the youth agenda to the next level. In addition, the youth representation in the Sectoral Oversight Committee will enhance opportunities for young people that have their voices and views reflected in the lawmaking processes.
Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena has presided over the opening of the hostel building of the South Asian Teacher Development Centre today. The new dormitory has been built entirely on local resource allocations. MPs and ministers as well as the Indian and Bangladesh High Commissioners in Sri Lanka have also participated in the event. Minister Bandula Gunawarthana, addressing the ceremony, said that India has extended massive support in providing a South Asian teacher training centre for Sri Lanka amidst the opposition of several Western countries. Minister Bandula Gunawarthana said that the UNESCO has granted approval for the registration of the Meetpe Institute of Teacher Training Development as a centre of the South Asian region. The minister has further pointed out that the country has been fallen to this pathetic plight at the end of 75 years due to certain officials acting according to narrow objectives, attempting to take arbitrary decisions taken by a government at the end of the regime of such governments.
කිසිවක් සිද්ධ වුණේ අන්තර්ජාතික වශයෙන් ගිවිසුම් වලට එළඹිලා ඒ අනුව කටයුතු කරන්න යම්කිසි වැඩපිළිවෙලක් සකස් කළාම ඊට පසු වෙන රජයන් මේ අකණ්ඩව පවත්වාගෙන නොයාමත් විටින් විට අත්නෝමතික ලෙස සහ පටු චේතනාවන් යුතු තීන්දුව తీරන ගැනීමට ඇතැම් නිලධාරීන් උපදෙස් දීමත් කරන කොටගෙන තමයි 75 වසරක් ගෙවෙන විට
Minister Susil Premajant has expressed opinion to the media after the ceremony on measures pertaining for the prevention of abuse of school children. Minister Susil Premajant said that this is a social problem. The best remedy to this problem is to enlighten the students according to their age groups. This process has to be carried out according to a scientific manner.
අමාත්‍යාංශයත් ඒ වගේම අධ්‍යාපන අමාත්‍යාංශයත් එක්ව කටයුතු කරනවා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේත් විශේෂයෙන්ම කාන්තා පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීතුමියන්ලා මේ පිළිබඳව උනන්දුවෙන් කටයුතු කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒ සියල්ලම එකතු කරගෙන අපි ඒකට විධිමත් වැඩසටහනක් ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා දැනුවත් කිරීමේ වැඩසටහන.
The importance of this center cannot be overstated. SACTED is something which has been in the making for some time, and today we see it in flesh and blood. I have been told about the work that has already been going on, the teachers that are coming here, the teacher development work which is underway, and also the programs which are being formulated, and the structures that are being put in place to run SACTED in future with the cooperation, of course, of the countries, which South Asian countries which have been spoken about. And we have also been informed about the structure and the function, the objectives, and what are the focus areas. And I am sure that the development of the center is in good hands. In my very brief remarks, I would just like to focus on the importance of education. Education, as we all know, is the pillar for future. And teachers are the foundation on which this pillar rests. In our area, in South Asia, you all would know that about 1/4 of the humanity lives in South Asia. So our challenge is to prepare this generation for future. And the challenge is difficult. It's not easy because today when we receive education, one challenge is that we prepare the generation for future, but we prepare the generation today. We cannot impart the knowledge that does not exist today. It will only exist in future. So what can we do? We can give them, and that word was used here, flexibility. We can give the students of today the flexibility, the ability to absorb what comes up in future.
You will all agree that if we are, in fact, we have to compete with the Western world and make ourselves progress further. We have to improve on our education sector, and there is a long way to go. Maybe Sri Lanka is in a better situation, but when you look at the other member countries of the South Asia, I think we have a long way to go. Particularly when it comes to Bangladesh, I think, well, our literacy rate is very growing, but I think we need to have the now focus on the quality of education. And when it comes to quality of education, it again comes to the quality of the educators, the teachers. And I must admit that when it comes to quality of educators and teachers in Bangladesh, we have a long way to go. So I think here where the importance of this regional institute comes to play. And as I have said, it is now I must thank the government of Sri Lanka and the UNESCO for doing the groundwork. Now we see that now the hostel is there. Now the website has been launched. So the institution, belated though, is now up and running, and it's our responsibility to make the good and the best use of it. And as the Honorable Education Minister has requested us as a member state to select a focal point in Bangladesh and also to nominate a representative of Bangladesh in the Board of Management so that all our education ministries are at sync, they can work together, and whenever there are courses for teachers on offer, we can have adequate representation from each of the member states.
The National Transport Commission has taken measures for the deployment of buses on the Sri Lanka Transport Board and the private bus sector through a joint timetable. Accordingly, the GPS technology is to be introduced for all the buses. At a news briefing held in Colombo yesterday, it has been also disclosed that special measures also be taken for proper identification of bus stands of inter-provincial long-distance bus transport. Director General of the National Transport Commission, Dr. Nilan Miranda, says that 1/3 of the buses out of the registered buses under the Commission have been fixed with GPS equipment. All other buses will also be given this facility in future.
The government has taken measures to promote Kettle-based products in the Ratnapura district, targeting the international market. The program is being implemented by the Small-Scale Agricultural Entrepreneur Partnership Program of the Ministry of Agriculture. Ratnapura district has the largest number of Kettle trees in Sri Lanka. Kettle products are presently being manufactured utilizing latest technology. Kettle-based products such as jaggery, honey and toddy are being manufactured targeting the international market. Major buyers of Sri Lankan Kettle exports include the United States, Dubai and Switzerland. However, Sri Lanka has not yet been successful in fulfilling the entire international demand. Sri Lanka's turnover from Kettle-based exports is around 50 billion rupees. Many Kettle industrialists have expressed their grievances due to engagement in their professional activities. A Kettle produce sales outlets was declared open in Ahaliugada yesterday. The Ceylon Environmental Manufacturing Company, formed with a unity of around 600 Kettle farmers, is managing this centre.
Foreign Minister Ali Sabri left for Stockholm this morning to attend the second Indo-Pacific Ministerial Forum. The forum is organized under the Swedish presidency of the Council of the European Union in collaboration with the European External Action Service. The foreign ministers of the European Union and Indo-Pacific region are expected to attend. The forum is co-chaired by Swedish Foreign Minister Tobias Billström and High Representative for Foreign Affairs and Security Polisi and Vice President of the European Commission Joseph Borrell. Foreign Minister Sabri will co-chair the first round-table discussion under the theme of building more suitable and inclusive prosperity together. One of the third round-tables of the forum. Minister Sabri will hold the bilateral discussions with a number of participating foreign ministers, including foreign ministers of Austria, Denmark, Finland, Latvia, Netherlands, Romania and Sweden. He is also scheduled to meet the business community, especially CEOs and senior officials of the IT industry in Sweden. This is the story of a group of visitors who are arriving on our country without passport and visas and return to their motherlands.
However, these visitors are unaware of the fact that they leave the island, handing over to us a lot of information regarding themselves. You may wonder who these visitors are. They are none other than the birds migrating to our shores. We would like to bring this report to you regarding the visiting birds in parallel to the World Birds Migration Day, which falls today. It is a traditional annual occurrence of birds living in countries in cold climates in the north to migrate to countries near the equator with the commencement of the winter season in their motherlands. According to ornithologists, birds from around 30 countries fly to equatorial regions in search of warmth, food and lodgings. The bird engage in this routine voyage via land routes across 2 continents, 25 major cities in 9 countries twice every year. One-way distance of each journey is around 8,000 to 12,000 kilometers. It takes these birds around 1 month's time to cover this distance. It is a customary practice to dangle or wear items such as rings around their bodies as a mark of identification. We are able to witness in many countries in the world which has granted state permission to facilitate the process of bird migration. The group of academics in the Zoological Science Faculty of the University of Colombo, headed by Professor Sampath Senaviratne, was engaged in a study for the first time in South Asia to study the birds' behavior during the migration. Accordingly, the group in April of 2020 has fixed a satellite codes into the birds' bodies under the project, and equipment valued around $2,000 was fixed into the birds at the tourist zones in Mannar, Colombo and Bundara. This procedure had enabled them to monitor the height of the birds' flying paths, then places of lodgings and many other relevant information. The data had also paved the way to map out their international migration routes, as well as on the global environmental conservation process and on the significant environmental zones in the world. Well, we'll be back with more local stories after a short break.
Kutumi, Fantamai.
வெளிநாட்டிலிருந்து பணத்தை மக்கள் வங்கிக்கு அனுப்பி வாராந்தம் 1 லட்சம் ரூபாய், மாதாந்தம் 1 மில்லியன் ரூபாய், ஆண்டிறுதியில் மாபெரும் சீட்டெழுப்பில் 1 கோடி ரூபாயினை வெல்லுங்கள். பீப்பிள்ஸ் ரெமிட்டன்ஸ் கோடி அதிர்ஷ்டம். நேரடியாக அனுப்புங்கள், பெரும் வெற்றி காணுங்கள்.
Welcome back. We continue with more stories from the local arena. The Mukha storm in the central Bay of Bengal Sea area is reported to be developing into an extremely rough tornado.
The Department of Meteorology informs the naval and fishing communities not to engage in journeys in the sea until further notice. The meteorology reports added that the Mocha minor storm is scheduled to enter the Bangladesh shores or northern of Myanmar by the afternoon tomorrow. As a result, the sea areas around the island would experience showers or thunderstorms from time to time. The Met Department also requests the fishing and naval communities to focus attention on the communiques to be issued in this connection in the next few days. Meanwhile, the western, Sabaragamu, central, northwestern and northern provinces of the island, including Gol and Mathura districts, could expect more showers or thundershowers. The report adds that certain locations in the western Sabaragamu provinces as well as certain locations in the districts of Kandy, Nuwara Elia, Gol and Mathura could experience heavy rainfall exceeding 75 millimeters. In other parts of the island may also receive substantial rainfall. Wind speed across the island could be between 40 to 45 kilometers per hour. The Ging River was reported to be overflowing due to heavy rainfall in the Gol district. Our correspondent says many low-lying areas surrounding the Mapalagama-Malamuri Road in Nagpur Divisional Secretariat Division are underwater.
Guidelines on how the state and law enforcement officials should act with regard to agitations were unveiled yesterday. A program in this connection was organized by the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission. The guidelines stipulate how the Sri Lanka Police, Army, Air Force, Naval and riot control groups should protect the rights of citizens during protests being conducted by the civilians. Chairperson of the Sri Lanka Human Rights Commission, Rohini Marasinghe, has presented the guidelines to the visitors. Former Speaker of the Sri Lanka Parliament, Karujaya Surya, was also present on this occasion.
Minister of Ports, Shipping and Aviation Nibal Siripal Silva, together with State Minister of Foreign Affairs Tharaka Balasuriya, held discussions yesterday with State Minister of Shipping in Bangladesh, holding a cabinet rank Khalid Mohammed Kroh Chowdhury, focusing new initiatives to further enhance collaboration in the shipping sector. Minister De Silva appreciated the long-standing friendship between the two countries and emphasized the importance of shipping connectivity as one of the key areas selected for bilateral collaboration. They decided to form a working group of legal experts to finalize the legal issues, if any, relating to pending bilateral instruments, and to also form an additional working group to discuss the operational related issues. The second session of the joint working group and joint secretary level talks will be held in Sri Lanka during the course of the year. Minister De Silva explained the facilities offered through the terminals of Colombo Port and the cost of time efficiency that Bangladeshi exporters can enjoy by using the port of Colombo. He further informed about ongoing development projects related to the shipping sector as well as the port development projects in the northern part of Sri Lanka and invited Bangladesh investors to invest in Sri Lanka's shipping sector through public-private partnerships. State Minister of Foreign Affairs Tharaka Balasuriya explained the promising opportunities available for the cooperation in the areas of fishing and and blue economy between the countries and invited the Bangladeshi authorities to collaborate with Sri Lanka for the mutual benefit of both countries.
Today is the second day of the Skills Expo 2023 exhibition. It is being conducted at the Sirima Bandaranaike Hall premises of the BMICH in Colombo under the theme Ability for Life, Employment According to Ability. The exhibition, which is being conducted free of charge, is scheduled to end tomorrow. It is open to the general public from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Among the exhibits of numerous institutions at the exhibition, the stall of the SriLanka Rupavahini Corporation is a prominent feature. DVDs of the teledramas, films and cartoon programs telecast over the national television could be purchased at the SLRC store. In addition, question paper sets of the Nana Mihir Scholarship are also being sold. The SriLanka Rupavahini Corporation has also provided facilities for the registration for the courses being conducted by the corporation with the approval of the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission. The organizing board says this is a fine opportunity for policy formulators and members of many fields to exchange their opinions and to enhance skills. Well, that's it on local stories. We'll be back with news overseas.
Kutumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back with international news. Turkey's presidential and parliamentary elections to be held tomorrow will have President Recep Tayyip Erdogan facing unprecedented challenges that could end his two-decade rule.
Voters will decide the fate of Turkey's democracy less than 3 months after a February 6th earthquake killed more than 50,000 people and displaced more than 5.9 million across southern Turkey and northern Syria. The elections also take place amid a serious economic crisis and what analysts say is democratic erosion under Erdogan's government. Analysts predict a record voter turnout this year and a tight race between Erdogan and the main opposition candidate, who is the leader of the Republican People's Party and presidential nominee for the six-party Nation Alliance bloc.
Kutumi, Fantamai.
Welcome back with your sports update. And pole vaulting youth player 17-year-old Thushain Silva says that his aim is to hand over Sri Lanka a world-level victory in future.
Attention of many have been focused on Thushain Silva after he bagged a silver medal in the pole vaulting event in the Under-18 Youth Asian Athletic Tournament. It was only after 72 years that a Sri Lankan competitor won a medal in the pole vaulting event at an Asian Athletic Tournament. Thushain Silva also established a Sri Lankan youth record through his performance of recording a distance of 4.7 meters at the tournament. He is still a student at Maristella College in Negombo. Thushain has also won gold medal in the junior pole vaulting event at the recently concluded National Junior Athletic Championship tournament at the Diyagama Mahinda Rajapaksa Stadium. He also created a new tournament record at this instance. Thushain is being coached by ASK Gunaratna.
Kutumi, Fantamai.
And with that, we conclude tonight's news. Just tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Sharifa. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.